the TPPA, which is the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which is an agreement that America wants to have, or the American government and major investors want to have between a number of other countries. All of these countries are in the Asia Pacific region. So I can't say all the countries, but basically you've got Vietnam, Brunei, Chile, New Zealand, Australia, and in total there's 8 of these countries that America want to basically take all the regulations that are in place at the moment in all these countries, in particular industries, and they want to regulate them from one place, being America. And what they want to do, the reason it's so scary of why we oppose it is because, first of all, they're doing it in secret. None of this that we see today, none of these guys, none of these coppers will know actually what they're actually protecting. They're actually protecting people from having rights. And one of the major things is safety, health. There's a beautiful mic check happening. But basically, you've got your as an example, if a council in anywhere in Australia, if this TPPA thing was to go through and to be approved, if a council or if a company or if someone came up with a plan to make something safer, but it affected the profit, and we're not talking about the profit of day-to-day running, we're talking about they'll lose the contract. A company, an American investor or whatever will lose the contract. It means that American investor or American company or the American government can sue the government of the country where this took place, and basically sue without any resistance. And what it means is that we would be taxed the suable amount, so our taxes would go up, and also it means that governments would be apprehensive in the future and companies would be apprehensive in the future to do anything that might be better for the environment or better for health and safety or better for just the well-being of the country in general, to take all the countries in the world to the future, because they would say it doesn't matter if we fix it or not, it's going to cost us exactly the same amount of money or more, because it goes on projected losses, not on losses, because how can you say a loss when you don't know what it is? So that's what it is. Why we did this lock on today in there, why we did that is because to create publicity, to do the lock on, to get all the media to look at this so that everyone knows these talks are taking place. And then the other thing, which is really important, is we want all the secret talks to be put out on the table, all the dialogue to be put out on the table, so that the people of each of these countries can see it and make a decision for themselves, because the government of this country especially, because this is where I'm from, Australia, the government of our country has decided that we're not worthy to decide for ourselves on these issues, when these issues are about us. They were voted in by the people and they should be answering to the people, and they're not. So today's action is to publicise this, to get them to bring this out into the open. 8 years ago, the Howard government, I think it was 8 years ago, around about 8 years ago, the Howard government brought a similar thing. It was exactly the same thing but called something else. They brought it to the table and they did tell the public, and it was shot down, like boom, it's finished. Okay? This time around, they decided to call it something else and to not tell anyone what it is, and just to invite the businesses who will profit, the businesses who will benefit in profit, in money. And the only thing that the TPPA is a money generating exercise for big business in America. So it will mean another thing, Australian companies and Asian companies will all miss out if they don't match, or if they don't kowtow to the American companies and use their products and use what they want to use, or to get not used at all. So does that make sense to you? Okay, basically what happened is we locked on at the registration desk. 3 of us. There was actually 4 of us, but one of us got. This is I don't know, a contentious issue. But one of us this morning was actually mugged, waiting for the other 3 of us. So he actually ended up in hospital, and he's got concussion and mild bruising. He was attacked from behind. So originally there was going to be 4 of us, but now there's 3 of us. But basically, what they did, we were locked onto the. Sorry about that. I'm just a bit shook up. I had an asthma attack this morning while I was on the pole. They did not let me have medication. They made my thumb cuff tighter around here. We had thumb cuffs to each other, to the 3 people who were facing into the pole. And basically, when the police search and rescue finally appeared, what they did is we were sitting down on the ground, and what they did is they grabbed my hand from being this way, with the thumb cuff on across here, and they just went like that, twisted it around, and it actually dug into my thumb here, and it closed it right up. And from what I've learned about to do with this, there's only one artery here, so it's pretty easy to lose your thumb. And we told them about that, and they said, you shouldn't have done it, and it's not our problem. So pretty much they didn't care. The other thing that they did is when they did cut them off, they used a grinder, they covered my head up, I couldn't see anything, and they had my head facing away like that, and wrapped around a pole. They covered our hands in water and lubricant. They kept spraying lubricant on there, and what that did is they told me to put my thumb like this, and the cuff is here. And basically what happened is my thumb was sliding out because they were pulling on my hand and grinding here, and they ground. I mean, I don't know how close they got, but they did actually cut through the lever part of my one, so I'd say that they were probably maybe that far away from my thumb. And they told me if I moved my thumb that they said there'd be no chance to stop it, that they would cut my thumb clean off. And they ignored for seconds at a time when I said stop, which they said that's all I had to say. They ignored, and I had to squeeze harder, which made the cuffs even tighter. So it was pretty painful. Ended up having an asthma attack. The gas that comes out of it, I'm an asthmatic, so the gas that comes out of it, it gives me asthma. I'm allergic to it. So again, they didn't let me have the medication, and finally they let me get out after a couple of medics actually were insisting and started to drag me out themselves. So finally they let me go after I was almost into a pretty serious asthma attack actually. And I've had, just to explain the asthma, I take a 500 milligram dose in the morning and at night every day of Seretide, Flixitide, fluticasone, Ceravent, and I take 2 prednisones, 25 milligrams each. And if you're a medical person, you'll know that's pretty strong. So I have 2 of them a day, and basically I still went into an asthma attack after having those this morning. So it was pretty serious, and there was probably not much except for if I had stayed there, adrenaline and all the hospital treatment, which I'm glad that didn't happen. But anyway, I'm okay, and I love all the people here that are trying to stop these sorts of things, and I respect everyone here who's done so much background support. It's not just me or Sam or Sean. There's a whole lot of background support here, and it is a really serious issue, and it's not going to end here. I sense it's not going to end here. It's going to go on for a while. We're going to be here for 9 days, and I would like Australians to come down. AFTINET, I would like AFTINET to make a presence here, and I would like all the other groups that have come from around the world actually, which I met this morning, to ramp it up as well. So hopefully, we'll get somewhere with this, and I love everyone.